Hello, this is Gizmo88, and this is a high definition review of the Game Boy Color. I want to apologize about the first Game Boy Color review. It was kind of cut off. Something happened with the server or something when it uploaded, and so it only ran for about 2 minutes, even though the video was like, I think, 7-8 minutes long. But anyway, this will cover everything that the other one did not. This is the Game Boy Color. This is made by Nintendo. This is an 8-bit system. This was Nintendo's first colored portable game system. Now that does not include the Game & Watch. Game & Watch was partially in color, and that was way back. But anyway, this is the Game Boy Color. As you can see, it looks pretty similar to the Game Boy Pocket. Basically, it's a little bit smaller screen, and obviously it says Game Boy Color. It still has the power light like the Game Boy Pocket did, and still in red. Nothing different there. Communication port on top, which is something new. You see it's black there, and that was mostly used for like the Pokemon games and stuff. That was for Pokemon Gold, Silver, Crystal, and also the Pokemon Minis 1 and 2. That's mostly what it was used for, but every once in a while a game would use that to communicate with another Game Boy or another device. Now, it also has the link cable port just like on the other Game Boy and Game Boy Pocket, except it's smaller. And they reduced the size of it so they could reduce the system just slightly. System is slightly smaller. It's not very much smaller, but it is slightly. The big difference is the shape on the back's a little bit different, and down here at the bottom where the speaker and stuff's at, as you can see there's a speaker, it's slightly designed different compared to the Game Boy Pocket. Aside from the communication port, the power button was moved to the side to make room for the communication port, and then the volume control is next to the link cable, and that was just like on the original Game Boy Pocket. However, this does not have anything to control the contrast, though. They did do away with that. But this system does have some flaws. Some of the games, and 3 of them that I can mention right off the top of my head: Mega Man Extreme and Mega Man Extreme 2, and Donkey Kong Country, which were all kind of based from the Super Nintendo, were kind of ported to the Game Boy Color, and really the Game Boy Color just did not fit right for them games. Being an 8-bit system, it just did not have the power to play them games. A lot of times, like especially with Donkey Kong Country, you would find where it almost appeared as if the contrast was too high, or if the brightness was too high. Usually it actually made it look like the contrast was down and the brightness was up, which was real common on some of the ported games. But anyway, there's a lot of games for it. It will play Game Boy and Game Boy Color games. It is not compatible with Game Boy Advance games, though. I will mention, I really think Nintendo could have done better. Being the fact this is an 8-bit, there really wasn't no big improvement to the Game Boy line, except for the fact that this is colored. For the most part, the cartridges are still identical, which I'll get to that in a minute. But as for the system itself, I mean, there was really no processor upgrade for the most part. I mean, it still remained. It started as an 8-bit system. It remained an 8-bit system. I really think they could have made it more like a 16-bit. I don't think it would have been as powerful as the Super, but I think it would have made a really great system. And even though it wasn't, though, even though it only was an 8-bit, it was still an excellent system. There's an endless library of games for Game Boy and Game Boy Color, and so you got probably over 1,000 games to choose from between the two, and it's just, it's just an excellent system when it comes to the durability. The size of it's great, but if you got small hands, like mine are kind of big. To me, to play it, my hands have got to really stick out. I used to when I was younger. I used to hold on to it like this and play it. I can't do that no more. If you notice, my thumbs will clear up to where it says Game Boy Color, or clear up to the screen. So, yeah, so I have to hold that like this now. That's one of the real bad things about this system is it's not big enough for big hands. But it's certainly an excellent system. Definitely one to add to the library. They're not very expensive. I think you can get one for like 20 or 30 bucks. The games are pretty cheap. Usually you can buy a game for about 5 or 10 bucks depending on the game. Some of the harder to find games might run you about 20, 25 bucks. If they're really rare, you might spend $30 to $40 on it, especially if they're real rare. But for the most part, that's pretty much it for the system. The cartridges are pretty much like this. This is Super Mario Deluxe, and as you can see, it looks pretty similar, except you can see through it. You can actually see the battery and stuff in it, and on the back you can see through it. That was real common on some of the Game Boy Color games. The Game Boy games look pretty much the same, except for this part up here. Instead of sticking out, it was like kind of embedded in the cartridge where you could pull it out instead of actually having something to grip onto. You did basically, but it was vice versa. And they kind of give you some grip pads here on the sides too. It's a little bit rugged there. But for the most part, that's pretty much it. You can kind of see the board down there a little bit. And as you can see, if they're genuine, I believe if you look up in there far enough, I think you can actually see where it says Nintendo on there and then copyright in the year. But anyway, when you put your game in, you put it in just like this. Put it in, snap, and just slide it in and just push on it, and then it clicks in. And then you turn your power on, and you get the Game Boy startup. Now, they did give it a little bit different startup, and I've actually beaten this game, so it starts a little different. That's pretty much it. I don't know how well you can see the game there, but anyway, like this game, the original challenge, VS, and like this game here, 2-player games, for instance, rather than using the communication port, they used a link cable to connect up to another Game Boy for 2-player play, which 2-player play was not really seen as much up until, really for the most part, up until the Game Boy Advance came out. It really wasn't that big. It still really wasn't that big until like the DS came out. So, but anyway, this is a great system. Definitely one to add to the library, especially if you are a collector. This concludes the review of the Game Boy Color.